a man having a good woman. But what happens when a woman has a good man?
You tell me.
What are some things that can happen? Well, first of all, before we go into the conversation, it has been a long time since you and I have been on live together, right? Typically, for those that are new, or maybe first time viewers, Data Firm the Real, Marcus, his co-host is Junior Lily, and my co-host is Shamika, the Dart Therapist. That's typically how we roll. But tonight we did it a little differently, and we got back on camera together. We don't typically come on camera together because we have co-hosts. But tonight we want to talk specifically about a particular topic: what happens when a woman is loved securely and well.
So explain that one to me.
So, from my personal experience,
Okay.
I have had experiences where men were not consistent. So I had to always be on, I had to be the leader. I had to be the decision maker. I had to be the one that was the come through, because a lot of times the men would not come through. They would not have that consistency that I needed. And they didn't listen to what my needs were.
Okay.
And so in our relationship, because my thing was, I didn't think I would ever get married again. But my thing was, I didn't think I was going to be able to get the things or have the things that I needed fulfilled. So when you have someone that is a listener and really pays attention to what your needs are and does those things, a lot of things I don't even have to ask for. They just get taken care of.
Okay.
And a lot of moments are moments where you can just know that I want those things.
Okay.
And you'll just do it. So we have people having problems hearing.
No, just making sure. Gotta switch something up. Make sure we good and go. Because
can you all hear us on IG side? Let us know if you can hear us okay. But even explaining things and telling you things that I need, it doesn't create this anger, and it doesn't create frustration. You want to make me happy. You want to listen. You want to be the person that answers my needs.
Okay.
Or responds to my needs. And so, sit down, Mojo.
Dog problems now.
So, sorry, it's the grand dog. But you want someone that is listening. You want someone that communicates well. You want someone that is responsive. You want someone that is consistent. And so I learned very quickly in dating you that you were those things.
Okay.
Which led me to know, like, very quickly, this is a person I could probably likely do life with. Another thing is, you validated what I was saying. So you didn't argue about it. You didn't say, I didn't have to do this in my last relationship, or why do you need that? You just validated it. I would tell you this was a need of mine, and you would say, okay, I'm listening. I'm going to work on that. And even if you didn't get it, and you probably dealt with some of my frustration, and you didn't get it right away because it may have been something that you weren't used to doing, but you did the work to try to do what it was that I asked of you and what my needs were.
Okay. So with that being said, for me to say things like why this and that, have I done it before? Probably yes, in my life, in a pre-relationship. You see how that worked out. Anytime we had a bad relationship, you never, and I came to terms with it myself, you never put the total failure on the other person.
Mm-hmm.
maybe they might have more that led to the break, to the dissolving of the relationship, but it was never one-sided.
Absolutely.
There was something that you could, there was something you could do better, because I can't go into no relationship saying I'm perfect. I can't do nothing in a relationship perfect. Hell, I consistently do things now after what, 5 years,
Mm-hmm.
but I have tried my best on a lot of things to do better. Um, Loving you securely, you can love it securely, but also securely is enough to allow you to forgive me and work with me and through some of the things I don't do right,
Mm-hmm.
and giving credit for the things I do well.
Yeah.
That makes up a big part to me. So if you do something that's bad, I don't like, it's easy to forgive you. Matter of fact, I often say this about what somebody told me years ago. It was an old boss of mine. I mean, you might have heard me say this on a podcast before. I said, "Hey, how did you know she was the one for you?" His answer was, "The shit that people do that bother me, when she do it, don't bother me."
Mm-hmm.
So some of the things that would get on my nerve, when you do it, I'm like, "Oh, okay, all right." So it allows me to love you instinctively, naturally. So when you need something, okay. I remember the first time you asked me for some money. Early we dating. You said, "Babe, cash at me such and such." I wasn't wondering why or this or when I'm gonna get it back. It was like, I don't give a shit. Okay. Listen.
Mm-hmm.
And that's part of a relationship. And I also wanted to let you know that I got you. I don't have to question you because you secure me. When I mean by secure me, you have to allow me to how can I do it? When I say see, I don't feel a need to wonder. For instance, how many male friends do you have?
A bunch.
A bunch. Well, you have one male best friend,
I have one male best friend and a
and you have
bunch of male partners.
right.
Mm-hmm.
If one of them call you or do anything, I don't care. So, for instance, a lot of men say don't. Oh, they should not have male friends. Okay, why not? If I'm secure in who you are and I know you're loyal to us, I don't give a shit. Because I know if somebody has wrong intentions, one, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Two, you will cut them off. I don't question it. I don't have to.
Yeah.
So loving you makes that part easy. So when you want to move how you want to move, why do I have to question? Now, sometimes you may want me to question some things, and I'm working on that.
He
But
don't be questioning nothing. He be,
I don't, because I'm like, what the fuck I'm questioning for? But you make it easy to because I trust you. I trust you wholeheartedly. I give you, you got passwords, you got phone code. Hell, you got shit I don't know. Remember, I gave you. I don't worry about it. That's just the way we move.
mm-hmm.
I don't want to spend rest of my days worried about what she doing. I'm gonna tell you another thing she do. Now, this is how secure I am with this. I'll let you watch all them crime shows, all them datelines, all them murder, all that murder, how to commit murder to people and everything. And I ain't worried about you sleeping next to you.
I ain't gonna do nothing to you back.
Okay. And,
Mm-hmm.
and through those actions, I'm good. Even though I
ain't gonna do nothing to you back. Uh-oh.
oh okay. Yeah, turn the volume down that one. But I also have to give you your space to move. You
mm-hmm.
honestly, babe, you have a strong personality. You know, you have a leadership quality among your peers. You have a natural light that people are very, very much attracted to. And I also have to acknowledge that. And there's times that I have to let you lead. I have to. Because being a leader is also knowing when to pull back. I have to know your strengths. I have to recognize those strengths. I have to accept those strengths. Because I also have weaknesses, and this is where our balance comes in. Where I'm weak at, you're stronger in certain areas. Like your organization is top notch. I'm scatterbrained.
Mm-hmm.
So I let you lead. Okay, this is how we got to need to do. All right, run with it. But you also seek my approval.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the balance. Now, sometimes does it clash? It's going to clash. Sometimes that's just inevitable. That's part of relationship. We're going to clash. It's how we react in those clashing moments. I don't think I have. I don't know if in an argument I never. I know I have. I never called out your name. I never called you any derogatory remark. Now, if you was some motherfucker on the street, you got
we don't do none of that.
You got every word in the book. But that's how now I will never choose to love you in that manner.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you seen me in the few times I got outraged outside the house at people. How you see me blow up. You see me blow up before, and I never forget it. When I actually wanted to jump out of the car, whoop a motherfucker over a parking spot. It's far and few between, but you never saw me get that kind of rage with you. Or I won't say rage, but that anger with you. It was too motherfucker. I was gonna get the ass. I was feeling good too. I was feeling.
Look at you. You feeling good now?
Yeah,
talking about it.
I'm gonna tap them motherfuckers in the ass. Yeah. It was two of them. Oh, yeah, they're gonna get this. They're gonna get this action.
But I think the whole point is there's a balance, and a lot of people like to give advice or suggestions or talk about their personal experience and how they did it. We don't live by nobody else's rule book. We do what works for Marcus and Keya. I don't give a shit what people think about how we move. I don't give a shit about people's opinions. Now, for a long time, I think Marcus may have cared a lot more than I did. I ain't never cared, but he may have cared a little bit more. And I think it's essential when you find a healthy partner and have a healthy connection, let other people move how they move. That works for them. You know, we've had people tell us that, you know, the man should be running everything and he should be the full leader and control everything. That's not how it goes down in our house. Now, do I consult with my husband? Do I discuss things with my husband? Absolutely. But there are times where I relinquish the control to him, and there are times where he relinquishes the control to me. We don't do that. The man got to do all of this and the woman got to do all of that. That's not how it goes in our house. Now, the reason why that's been important for me is because we have very clear boundaries.
Right.
We have a true understanding of one another and what the expectations are. And again, we communicate effectively with one another. What I find a lot of times is people will try. Our podcast is not intended to tell people how to do life with somebody else. It's for you to find your own groove and your own rhythm with the person you're with. That's how I speak about mostly everything, though. There is no rule book on anything. There is no rule book on it. And I know we think you got to follow this, you got to follow that, you do what works for you. Do what works for you. And oftentimes, one of the main reasons some people are not in successful relationships is because they believe in following just one way and one way only. And you get trapped in that. And then that's when the frustration comes in, because I accept Marcus for who he is. The things that I would like for him to change, I bring to his attention and I say, I would like for this to happen. But I also accept the things that are just who he is, right? He can be scatterbrained. He's more dreamy than me. I'm analytical, and I am a realist. So yes, I look at things and I can break things down, but I don't throw sugar on shit. I don't pretend things are not what they are. I see it for exactly what it is. He, on the other hand, can be very dreamy. He can be up in the clouds, and I have to be like, okay, I'm going to pull you down from the clouds, come back into reality. This is what we're dealing with. This is what we're facing. And so there's a great and positive balance when it comes to us, because we don't have to put on airs for anybody. We don't have to fake and be phony for anybody. We do what works for us. We've had people tell us, oh, I got, Marcus and Keya goals. Don't have Marcus and Keya goals. Have your own personal goals, because I'm here to tell you what we do may not work for you. So you will get with a partner and you'll think, oh, that's what Marcus and Keya do. And then you get with a partner and you'll be like, I can't do that. And the same thing, what you said about me with my male friends. I've had so many people tell me, I would not date you, or I would not be with you with the male friends that you have. One thing about us is we don't try to control each other. We don't try to run each other and choose people for each other. So that's healthy for us, though. That might not be healthy for other people. Other people might have jealousy or insecurities that impact that. Or they might just be following a certain belief system that tells them you can't be friends with the opposite sex. We don't do that. We just do what works for us. We don't go by any rule book. We don't go by any playbook. We do what works for us. If this feels good and healthy and positive for us, that's what we do. If that doesn't feel good and healthy, or if it feels negative in any way, we need to sit down, we need to discuss that, and we need to try to figure out, okay, how do we make this look differently? Because I am not trying to do what other people do. I've been married twice. He's been married once. We don't need to try to do stuff that we tried to do before, nor do we need to try to do anything that happened with anybody else, because we're just doing what works for us. So when you want a healthy, positive, loving, consistent relationship, you will figure that out, what that looks like for you. Another thing that I just kind of wanted to highlight about you is, like, you're very present when I need you to be present. So it's not even the times where it doesn't show up as perfection, right? Because sometimes I may want you to show up a certain way, but that's on me. And remember, I'll even tell you, like, that's something for me to work through. You can't give me that. I need to figure that out on my own, right?
Right.
But you're still there. You're present and you're listening and you want to help and you want to, one of the things with you is you want to change the narrative for me, or you want to figure out how to fix things. I don't always need you to do that. There are times where I just need you to sit and listen, let me get it out my system, and then I can move forward. But you're always looking for answers to try to help. And I appreciate that. But you also listen when I say, I don't need you to fix this, babe. Just listen to me. And you'll be like, oh, okay. I'm gonna sit back and listen, right? And you make space for me in that way. And so it's about creating the conversation. We've always created those conversations, and had those open lines of communication to continue to keep things open, to keep the conversations going, to keep the understanding of what each other needs are. We got some comments.
So let me bring these up real quick.
Bree says, I'll ask Isaac questions, ready to argue, because I can usually guess how he'll answer. So Bree, okay, She says, okay, but in all seriousness, I do value his opinion because another perspective is sometimes needed. But there's another part.
It didn't come up yet.
Okay. So, and I think it's good to be able to have not, rock those ideas off of your partner. And additionally, the other part is to have someone who knows you in a different way than outside people know you and listen to something that you're sharing with them. You can sometimes get a totally different perspective altogether that leads to something that is extremely helpful to both of you all in the relationship. Like I might be struggling with something, and then you might hear about what their struggle is, and you might say, do you mind if I offer a different perspective? Or do you mind if I offer my insight or my personal experience with this or whatever? Even though I might go into it without a need for that, I think sometimes the ask is there. And I just dealt with that today with a friend. I was venting to her and her response was, do you mind if I offer a different perspective? Sometimes that's even good,
Right.
that provides space for people to feel like their feelings aren't invalidated, but also I would like to offer you a different way to think about this maybe. And so like that's even something that can be incorporated because like I said, you're a fixer. So
Right.
if I bring something to you in your mind, you're thinking I need to fix it. I don't always need you to fix it, but if you do have some wisdom or experience that you can offer in that moment, I think there are ways that it can be brought out that doesn't make me feel like my feelings or thoughts are invalidated.
Yeah. And so I have to. Yeah, so it actually takes. It's actually a mental thing for me. I have to make myself sometimes be quiet when you're venting because I do want to give a solution or I do want to give a spin on something when you're just trying to give it out. And it's funny because, and you'll know because you're like, why you got that dumb look on your face?
Oh,
Because,
but you get fixated on stuff. So I know that way too.
yeah. And that's part of my ADD now, like, because I want to give you my all. Like I said, because I want to be in the clouds. And you don't live up there like I do. So I need to meet you where you're at and allow you. And I think that's part of with the security, loving you securely. What's the word? What's the title again? Securely, loving you securely.
Come on, what's the title again?
I'm trying to use the proper words, but no. But really, in actuality, I have to give you space to do how you do.
Yeah.
Even you want to give me answers sometimes. And you have to say,
Oh, I'll say, I'll let you figure that out. Sometimes because I know I can kind of jump in there. You want to put the next comment up? So we got a comment from Angie. Expressed communication, wants, needs, or desires are always valuable to success within a relationship. Part of the balance of the connection. Absolutely. Okay, I want to take a turn now, babe, in the conversation.
Okay, I'm
because
listening.
I want to hit on some deeper parts of this topic. And that is, there are women out there, and the reason why I really kind of want to talk about this is because for a long time, I would have considered myself a woman that got over into the angry side for men.
Okay.
Or I got over to the bitter side about men and what I needed to do to heal so that I wouldn't get in another relationship with someone and bring that brokenness and that bitterness into my next relationship. And sometimes as women, we have unconscious wounds. We have wounds that we haven't addressed. We have things that we are dealing with that we've pushed down and that we haven't got comfortable with facing because it's uncomfortable. And when we do that, the easiest thing to do is to blame the men, right? That's the easiest thing. I did it. And I remember I want to share something with you all because I call people out a lot while simultaneously telling and sharing my own shit. And here's something that I dealt with, especially from my second divorce, because my second divorce was one of those, I was constantly pointing the finger at all of his indiscretions and all of his negative things. And he did this to me and he did that to me. And, I spent so much energy and so much time on that was time that I should have been investing in my healing. And I eventually got it, of course, but you don't want to spend so much time doing that because, believe it or not, there are men that are not your ex or that are not the men that you've had certain encounters with. And if we don't do the necessary inner work on ourselves, we'll find ourselves constantly kind of meeting the same types of people because our expectations can still be in that same space. So basically, like when I was angry with men and I felt a certain way about men, I carried a specific energy. And that energy caused me to possibly not connect with certain people because in my mind, they're all like this. The other thing that I would encounter was I would try to fix people. I would see maybe one good quality in them and I would say, oh, but I can fix them, or I can change this, or I can do that. And then later I would be upset with them, or I would resent them because I walked myself into a situation trying to fix somebody when I still needed fixing myself, when I still needed healing myself. And oftentimes, as women, that's just kind of a role that we take on. We're caregivers. We want to take care of people. We want people to be well. We can see some of your trauma and your pain. And then later, we'll resent you because the pain we saw has now inflicted us. It's now affected us. And so now we're angry with you because you did to us what a person that has pain and trauma and hasn't worked through that stuff would do. And so I dealt with a lot of anger and animosity and bitterness towards men because I couldn't sit with myself for a long time. Because one of the main reasons was it was much easier to blame someone else. I didn't have to do any work. I didn't have to hold myself accountable for choosing a no good ass person. I didn't have to, say, well, Keya, you thought you could fix a man. You thought you could build a, go and walk in and I could fix a man. And then you got mad at him, but you should be holding yourself accountable because you chose someone that was not emotionally available to you. And I want women to know that because for me, I did that for so long, I would not have seen you. I would not have felt you if I was still in that place. I would not have, or for instance, I've had other men that I've met that were quality men, but because I wasn't in that place, I missed it. I couldn't see them. I couldn't feel them. I couldn't hear them because I wasn't in that place emotionally. And because I was dealing with my own trauma that I hadn't faced, that I hadn't healed. And when you're dealing with someone who going into the next topic, when you're dealing with someone who is willing to mutually grow with you, you know, that's good, cousin. You receive what intentions you put into the world.
Yeah,
You've been listening to your cousin, girl, or
So,
you got it yourself.
so I agree with that comment. I was just thinking that you're going to attract who you are.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're, even for God, if you're not in a certain place, you're going to attract somebody who's not in that same place. But you'll desire somebody to be in a certain mindset you're not in,
Mm-hmm.
and you'll never get them. You'll never receive them. On top of, you'll even attract peers with that same mentality,
Yeah.
and that's the hard thing or bad thing. We somebody with that same mindset of not being in the good place emotionally. You'll
Mm-hmm.
never, you make it harder. I can say never, but it's harder to climb out of it.
Yeah.
You'll sit in that, and that'll be your comfort zone.
Yeah.
That'll be your commonality.
Mm-hmm.
But guess what? When you come out of it, that them people around you no longer feel natural to you.
Yeah.
And as a man, if I see a woman, and I have seen this before as a man, a woman who's not in a good place and I'm in a better place, two things gonna happen. I ain't trying to talk to you, and I'm running,
Mm-hmm.
or I make the mistake of just using you for physical purposes, and I'll get stuck.
Yeah.
And now I still gotta try to get rid of you, or because I'm never looking at you as a potential life partner
Mm-hmm.
or relationship. You're just something you're attractive for a moment.
And let's kind of sit there for a minute. Let's sit there for a minute. Because this is where I see a lot of women get hung up. I used to get hung up here. So let's sit there for a minute. And you can put Angie's comment up there and we'll address that. When you are not in a healthy place emotionally, mentally, even spiritually, when you're not in that healthy place, what can happen is you'll see someone and you'll have this physical attraction to, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's all that's there on the surface is I have this physical attraction to someone, and then you'll end up in this situationship. But in your mind, you have a motive or you have a different desire for a different outcome to happen. And you think because we're going through these motions, right,
Okay.
that something is going to happen. Even though you've seen glimpses of who that man is, or even for a man to a woman, you've seen who that man is, you've seen who that woman is. But a lot of times we will continue to proceed with people. One of the things that I learned, and even like right now, I honor that. My intuition is my best damn friend. My intuition is my best damn friend. Why? Because it is my alarm system. It is my protection. It alerts me when I need to protect myself. It alerts me when I need to observe something. It alerts me when I need to be in tune with something. It alerts me when I need to say, hold on, what they just say? What did they just do? So it's there for a purpose. What we will do as humans is we'll say, that ain't meant for me. They wouldn't do that to me. And then later we get mad at them. Later, they're the bad person. So we're not holding ourselves accountable. And if you keep cycling through that, I want you to think about this. Think about if you keep cycling through the same types of behaviors, what is going to happen? You're going to be resentful and angry and blaming other people rather than looking at your own behavior, rather than looking at your own conduct. So one of the things that I had to figure this out, y'all, in my 40s. I was dating, and that had to change. I had to date with intention, and I had to stop having a certain type of conversation continue when I saw where it was going. Stop, Mojo. Once I saw where it was going, I started to dead it. This doesn't work for me. I wish you nothing but the best on your journey, but I am not the person you want to date going forward. When we continue to date people, though, and we continue to sleep with the people, and we continue to call them, and we continue to spend our precious time with people, we're doing it to ourselves. We're doing it to ourselves. I want to address Angie's comment. When offering a suggestion or a different thought process on something, it could be in the way you verbally approach the person. Yeah, I think you have to find a rhythm with the person. If you can't find that rhythm where you all are communicating in an effective way, because you heard Marcus say earlier, he don't scream, he don't cuss, he don't do nothing, none of that with me. We don't do that with each other. Now, I might yell sometimes, but we try to just remain very respectful of each other. And if you're dealing with someone that communicates differently than you do, then you have to determine if whether or not you're going to move forward with them. Why would you continue moving forward with a person that communicates? If you don't like to be yelled at and cussed at, or if you don't like for a person not to communicate at all, why continue to move forward? Angie said, facts, Keya, without analyzing yourself and holding yourself accountable for your own actions, you will keep picking, attracting the same person, but with a different face. Absolutely. I did that a lot. Picking the same person.
So they get tired. They get tired.
And you get tired of that, right? And but because I was in this perpetual state of blame, right? I would leave this person or that person would leave me, and I would go into a blame stage. I would go into the bitterness. I would go into the resentment. I would go into the anger, but never really stopping and pausing to take time to look at myself, to look at my own choices, to look at my own behavior, to look at what I was welcoming in, to look at, what I was even, the role I was playing in that relationship. Because like I said, it's very easy to blame somebody else because you don't have to do anything.
And my thing about that is that causes a ripple effect.
Absolutely.
I could be a man or anybody could be in a better spot. And if I choose somebody who's not in a good place, it's infectious. So now my outlook is turning. It could be like, all right, because I picked a woman who was not in that good mindset. Now I'm thinking, but most women are like this.
Yeah.
So now I'm becoming a victim. I'm becoming a
big one,
a person who spreads this, I guess, toxic outlook out now. So now I'm becoming sickness, and now I'm going to date somebody else. And guess what? And if they're in a better place, and I convince them to date me, I'm spreading my sickness. Now I'm contagious. And that's why I often say, like, you need to get yourself straight before you damage somebody else.
Yeah.
And
it's not that you have to be completely healed, because I want to make that clear to people.
Okay.
You don't have to be completely healed, because what is completely healed? To be clear, you don't have to, but you do have to be on a trajectory of doing the work and understanding what that work looks like for you as an individual. Because oftentimes people will get into these relationships and in these connections with people, but they don't even know who they are. They don't even know what they desire. We talk a lot about pop the balloon, right? Now, personally, I use pop the balloon as an observation, and it's always interesting to me, because if you ever watch that pop the balloon shit, what is one of the first questions she asks people when they come up?
Oh, you got Fury?
No, she asks, what are you looking for in a potential partner? That's one of her first questions. What's your name? What do you do for a living? And then, what are you looking for in a potential partner? And what I've noticed time after time is 80% of the people cannot answer the question. They don't have They'll be like, oh, what am I looking for in a person? That's a start. Should you be getting in a relationship when you don't even know what you want out of a relationship? That's a start. Just start. Understand what you need from a relationship. And you won't understand that until you understand what you need from yourself. When I started to go deep within myself and understand and reflect on myself and say, okay, Keya, these are some things that are important to you. You love communication. You love thoughtfulness. You understand what your love languages are. You understand the type of partner that you would like to be for someone. Then I can get into a relationship. I had no business getting a relationship when I was like, I'm pissed off. All men ain't shit. I hate men. They're stupid.
But I want one.
But I want one. So it didn't add up, right? It was like either I want a man or I don't. Not all of them are perfect, but I'm not looking for all men. I'm looking for one man. So I don't even need to categorize them all as whatever. I just need to get myself together. I need to be in the energy of who I want to be so that I can meet that man in the energy of who he is, and we can show up together in that way. I was able to continue my healing with you. My healing actually changed in some ways because of the way of the thoughtfulness that you had, of the care that you had, of the patience that you had, of the listening that you had with me. You weren't trying to make me be anything or anybody outside of Keya. You wanted to understand, know, and get connected with who Keya was, not who you imagined in your head, right?
I will imagine some shit.
Well, but not you weren't trying to make me be that, is the point, right? So Bree said, also with the way people process their emotions, boyfriend is ready for a clear-headed conversation after disagreement, while I need time to calm and organize thoughts. Hey, see, and that's big, Bree. That's a big one. Ain't it a big one?
Yes.
That's a big one. Because there are times where this was actually a recent thing with us. And I actually I recognize this. Thanks for that comment, Bree. I recognized this recently. All of this time I had kept saying, you can't go to bed mad. You can't go to bed upset. I shouldn't be angry. I shouldn't feel this way, right? And so we had an incident where I was like, well, I'm not going to force myself. Like, I'm not going to force myself to feel shit because that ain't even who I am. If you know me, that's not who I don't force myself to feel nothing. So I need to continue to process this overnight. And I said that. I there's nothing else for me to say right now. And he respected that. And, we woke up the next day and we addressed it later when we both got off of work. But it's okay to put a pin in things and address it later. You can't force someone to talk about things. And see, back in the day, I used to be that person. I was that person that was like, no, we need to talk about this right now. Right? But you respect that when I say that.
Mm-hmm.
You'll say, do you want to talk about this now? And I say, no, I don't. And you'll say, okay. The problem is he don't know when to come back. He'll just leave it. And I'm like, we got to talk. We got to come back and talk about that, right? But again, we know how to effectively communicate with one another. And as a woman who has been in relationships with men who didn't provide that to me, but at the same time, I had no business in relationship with them.
Right. So I'm gonna go back to what you trickle back a little bit. When you're talking about, you gotta know what you want, and from a person.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna say about this: not all sparks start a fire. What I mean by that, because I have initial attraction to you, don't mean we make good relationship buddies or partners.
Mm-hmm.
So without you knowing what you want, without me knowing what I want, A physical attraction is nothing but a spark. We'll never get the flame of a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
You know, outside of this physical attraction that will fade
Mm-hmm.
because it's superficial.
Mm-hmm.
We need to establish more. So with you not knowing what you want, I'm not knowing what I want, we'll never start a race.
Exactly.
We'll never start a journey.
Good point, babe.
And that's some of the things I had to learn to look for. I even learned that I needed to look for more through our journey.
Mm-hmm.
Because okay, I say this, and that, but you're like, okay, what about this, and that? Now think about it. Oh, got it. Let me come with an answer and let me analyze it because I know that's what you need,
Mm-hmm.
and what you need is also what I need.
But one of the things too is I will encourage you, to do your own healing work. I will encourage you to find times and ways to do what you need to do on your own. And that, you deserve those moments. Because I take those moments, right? I take those moments. I go and I sit alone and I meditate and I write and, I sit in silence. I do all those things that I need to do for me. And I'll encourage you, go do those things. If you need to go out and be by yourself, if you need to go to the lounge and smoke, if you need to go sit outside in the back, if you need to go in your room, whatever that is, I encourage that because we both need those moments of reflection and for healing. And that's how the continued healing takes place with us. And for me, like I said, I wanted the big focus to be on as a woman. Because a lot of times we'll say, when a man got a good woman by his side, right? But what about when a woman has a good man by her side? I'm able to do a lot of the things I do in my business because of you. I'm able to grow not only in my business on the professional side, but in all other ways because I don't have fear about your responses. I don't feel stress about, oh, I got to go tell him I'm getting ready to go to the cigar lounge and talk to these men about a deal or a business proposal or whatever, because we communicate, you respect what I do, you appreciate what I do, you see my worth in what I do. And so that's a big deal. And I want us to understand we should choose people that are accepting of who we are fully, not parts of us, because that won't work long term. There's no point in getting a relationship with somebody who's like, yeah, I don't want you talking to nobody else but me. Why would you get in a relationship with somebody like that? If you know that man don't have a job, if you know that woman has 10 kids and that's not what you're looking for, don't get involved in with people like that. It's not going to work out. You have to start thinking to yourself what you want, becoming a version of who you want to become in the relationship so that you can encounter those types of people and be honest with yourself and be honest with them. If that's not a type of partner that you want, you have the prerogative to say, yeah, that's not something I really want to be in. This is not the love connection that I'm looking for. But I wish you the best on your journey. And that's it. I would get up and walk out of dates. It was good to meet you. But through our conversation so far, this is not anything that I'm looking for. And I wish you the absolute best. And I would walk away. But the old me, before I got to that understanding, would sit there and I would torture myself through that. And I would feel obligated to give people my attention and give people my understanding. And then before you know it, now I go out with you again.
Mm-hmm.
Now I go out with you again. And I'm wasting my time and yours because I know this isn't something that I want. You know that this ain't something that you want. and we get ourselves caught up and it doesn't work. And then again, it just creates this cycle. And once you do that cycle long enough, it's natural that it's going to build up some stuff. But I have a healthy, loving, caring, positive relationship now because I knew what I wanted when I came into this.
Mhm.
I was clear about that. And that's why we had very detailed conversations early on. And I know you were sick of me. I know you was. You didn't say it, but you was like, okay, I gotta answer this other question. Okay. All right, now she want to go meet my family and shit.
I will I will either confirm or deny.
You ain't got to confirm or deny. I know what it was. You didn't like it. That's just on period. You didn't like it. I get it. But it helped me to determine if I wanted to move forward. I needed to know those things. I needed to meet your family. I needed to know what your desires were. I needed to know, how you would treat me. I needed to know what was important to you and what wasn't. I needed to see consistency. Words are great. A lot of people got words, right?
Right.
But what good is that? What good are words? So I needed that consistency I got from you was part of my healing as well. Because it was for the first time I got something I hadn't got before because my expectations changed. Because my clarity of what I wanted came into a clear view, right?
Okay.
So that's what helped me to acknowledge the fact that, now I'm cooking. Let them cook. This is it. It's healthy. And one thing I didn't mention that I want to mention at the end, and I want to open it up to any questions or comments that you all may have, is my nervous system.
Tell me, explain.
And you all may have heard me say this before. When my nervous system was regulated in this relationship, I knew I was on to something. Now, here's the difference. And this is what I mean when I say that. I've been in relationships with people and my nervous system would be out of regulation. What that means is I would be thinking, what he doing? Where he at? He told me he here, but I don't believe that. I text him, he ain't text me back. I called him, he ain't called me back. And my nervous system would be so messed up because intuitively, I already knew. That's the thing that I'm talking about when you follow your intuition. When you become in tune, you cannot know what your intuition is or is speaking to you if you are not doing the healing work. If you're all over the place, you can't hear from yourself. You are going to struggle from the discernment that's there naturally because your nervous system is out of whack. So you're missing a lot of stuff. The other part is if you're a people pleaser, you'll ignore that intuitive feeling that you have because people pleasing will take that precedence over that natural instinct of what discernment is telling you. You'll hop right into people pleasing, but your body is rejecting it. So that's why you'll feel a headache or a stomach ache or that uneasy feeling. And I felt that all the time in relationships because I had no business in about 90% of the relationships I was in. I had no business in them because I was ignoring myself. And that put my nervous system out of whack. My nervous system has never been out of whack with you. If I'm worried or concerned, it's because I'm like, he ain't text me back. The first thought in my mind is, did he have an accident? Is he okay? Is he safe? It's that type of worry. It's not a worry of he cheating. He talking to some woman. He doing this. So my nervous system is very regulated. I don't have those concerns. I don't have those fears. I don't have those feelings of, do I need to worry about my husband doing this or that? That's another part of the healing that I've done on my own and that I've been able to do with you along the journey.
Okay.
So you can have closing words and then we're going to take questions and comments.
No, I'm just thinking about some of the things you said about the noise. That's where you can hear your discernment.
Mm.
I equate that like static.
Mm-hmm.
You remember the old school radios, or you like you'd be real staticky. You had to fine tune it
Yeah.
to get the frequency just right, so you can hear your music.
Yeah.
So that healing's like fine tuning it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, men have it too, but we don't know how to use it as well on average. But we have it, and we have to fine tune it. We wasn't taught to fine tune.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we was taught through other people's experiences.
Mm-hmm.
How many times have we been taught wrong?
Yeah.
You know,
That's what we talk about. You do it your own play, create your own playbook. Stop trying to follow other people's playbook.
right? And these are things that we often don't understand. Sometimes you gotta say, our dad or mom, they were wrong. It's fine. And also when you're talking about walking out on dates or ending or saying this is not what I want, this is not for me. I wish you well. What you didn't cover with, that's a level of courage.
Mm-hmm.
It takes courage. No, you could be the bravest person in the world, but it takes courage to say, I need to step away from this.
Courage and clarity.
Yes, step away from this.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're looking for a safe place, but we're trying to make something safe. We're trying to be safe in fire. You're going to keep getting burned. It's not safe.
Mm-hmm.
So I look at those things, and I want to be a place for you. I desire to be a place for you. You know, and I know I have also come to I know I come to reality, love. I can't be the place for you for everything.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I let you have. Excuse me, too. Back that up, Marcus. That's why I don't mind you having other confidants. You can certain things you can share with this person, that person, male or female. I don't give a shit. These I'm not your everything.
Mm-hmm.
I'm your main thing.
Yep.
And I get that. You know, there's certain things you could share with me, certain things you can share. You share with people who can understand that aspect. I can listen to everything, but I can't always understand everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I let you have that because, and I keep saying let, but I don't mind you having.
You make space for me to be that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I don't.
We create space for each other to be who we are, and that's all we're basically trying to point out is that we create space for one another that is natural for us, one that is in alignment with who we are as individuals and collectively as a couple. And it means that to other people that are watching, the reason why other people watching have said positive things about us is because we found our rhythm and we walk in our own rhythm. Mojo, get out. Get out. And you're stinking. Sorry, y'all. But you know, it's date affirm the real. Ugh. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry. But we work in our rhythm. Do you guys have any questions? Do you guys have any comments? Did you enjoy this conversation between Marcus and I?
But I do have a question.
Mm-hmm.
What do anybody out there? What's their definition of being loved securely? What was it? What was their perception? How do you feel that is? You know what it feels like. What do you think it feels like? What does it feel like? What are you looking for to get in that space? Because I can, I really do try to provide you your space, your spot, your landing, your soft landing, your venting, your, you know, your, I want to be there for your highs and lows.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I want to clap for you when you're high and hug you when it's low.
Oh, this is my last thing I want to say, y'all. Okay. Oh, Don, thank you. He said this was a great conversation. Thank y'all. Y'all have spoken some big facts tonight, Angie. Thank y'all. Okay, so I want to say this. Markeisha said I missed most of the conversation, but what I was able to hear was amazing. Oh, what was I getting ready to say? I lost my thought that quick.
It'll come, babe.
What did you say?
About I want to love you when you're high and you're low. Something in that aspect. I need when you're up here like you high, I'm clapping for you. When you low, I'm hugging you. Make sure I'm never gonna let you hit bottom. I'm always gonna cushion the blow. Because we all gonna fall. I'm gonna cushion it. You know, that's who I am. That's what it is. You know, I gotta be there for success and failures.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and these are a lot of things I have to do to make sure I love you. And same with you. And when I want to release emotions, I know I can do that with you. And, you know.
Oh, now I know when you
Gotcha.
said that. Okay, let's address Bree's comment. The same principles can be applied to friendships, family ships, or other relationships. And I love that because everything I talk about applies to my life across the board. So I love that. But what I was going to say was, I think what's really, truly important is other people, and I've already said this, but I want to add something. Other people have said, oh, I love you all's relationship, Marcus and Keya relationship goals. But I've also heard people say, oh, Keya's bossy. Keya's this, Keya's that. And so some people may not be able to deal with the Keya and Marcus that y'all say, oh, I love how y'all look. It might not work for somebody else, but it's not supposed to. It shouldn't. Because, yeah, you guys might see certain things on the surface, but there's a lot. And I even said this at our Friendsgiving event. There's a lot that people don't see because one thing that both of us do is we reserve a lot for just each other that nobody else gets to see, that nobody else knows about. We reserve a lot for each other. So that's another point to kind of consider as whether you're single, whether you're dating, whether you're married, it's something to consider. There are so much about our relationship. If everybody knows every aspect of your relationship or even your singlehood, they know too much. They know too much. When people project onto me because they have a specific perspective about me or thought about me, that has nothing to do with me because you only get a glimpse of me, really. And that says a lot because I'm so multifaceted. So there's so much more. The same with Marcus. Most people think, oh, Marcus is quiet and he's shy and he's reserved. That's what you get. You get that I'm bossy and I'm a leader and I'm this and I'm that. But when it's just me and him, we both roll very differently when it's just me and him because we really honor one another in a different type of a way. And we don't take that for granted. So yeah, while some people might see this, we have our own thing that goes on behind the scenes and that works for us. It's healthiest for us and it's beautiful for us. And so I just want to say to you personally, babe, thank you for being who you are. Thank you for being a great husband. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your attentiveness. Thank you for how you show up for not only me, but those who you know I love, friends, family, and those alike. You are consistent. You are a very safe and soft landing space for me at any and all times. So I'm grateful for you. And I hope that others can be as fortunate as I am, because I can say that I get to do the work that I love and have my highs and lows with you by my side, supporting me and believing me and being my biggest cheerleader. Thank you for that.
Anytime. For you always, baby.
Thank you. So that's it. You guys didn't have any questions or other comments. So we are going to close this thing out. Just as a reminder, next Tuesday, we'll be back on our regular schedule. Keya McClain, the poet, and Shamika, the dart therapist, will be on next Tuesday. And the following Tuesday, we'll be back on schedule. Marcus and Don, Junior Lily will be on the following Tuesday. So continue to show up and show us love and support us. We've made some changes. We're going to have some different conversations this year. If you have any suggestions on topics, if you want to come on as a guest, if you want to send in an anonymous letter or anonymous thoughts about something, feel free to do that. Our email is datethereal@gmail.com. That's datethereal@gmail.com. You can send us an inbox on IG or Facebook, or even you can comment on one of our YouTube. So thanks again for everybody participating. Angie, Don, Bree, Makisha. Thank you guys. In fact, you guys are the MVPs because you keep coming back. You keep showing us love. And we appreciate and value who you are, the time that you give to us. And that's it. Any last words, babe?
No, I'm willing to see you guys next week, the week after. This she don't know, but we have a competition. Cause I have a competition with y'all. Me and Don have a competition with y'all because y'all always bringing that fire and the heat on y'all. That's drive us to bring a little harder on ours.
Don, you in competition with us? Ah!
Yeah, it's like spade.
Wait,
like,
I'm finna call my cousin right now and tell her we in competition. I didn't know we was in competition.
See, so they say you bossy. they say this. They also say you competitive.
I am definitely competitive.
Yes, you are.
I wear that hat
proudly, but that's what I love about you. You step your game up. We mess with her. But until then, see you next week. You and Shamika.
next week.
All right.
Peace, y'all. Love y'all.